Today we are going to discuss about trial balance. You have learned about the basic principles of accounting, that for every debit there will be an equal credit. It implies that if the sum of all debts equals the sum of all credits, it is presumed that the posting to the ledger in terms of debit and credit amounts is accurate. The trial balance is a tool for verifying the correctness of debit and credit columns or credit accounts. It is an arithmetical check under the double entry system which verifies that both aspects of every transactions have been recorded accurately. Okay, here which says that what is trial balance? A trial balance, it is a statement which showing that balances or total of debit and credit of all the accounts in the ledger with a view to verify the arithmetical accuracy of posting into the ledger accounts. Okay, here which means that it is an important statement in the accounting process as it shows the final position of all accounts and helps in preparing the final statements. The task of preparing the statement is simplified because of accountant can take the balances of all accounts from the trial balance instead of going through the whole ledger. It may be noted that the trial balance is usually prepared with the balances of accounts. Okay, then move on to the format of a trial balance. This is the format of a trial balance. Here is a 4 column. The first one is account title, then second one is ledger folio, then debit balances and credit balances, and the total of debit and credit should be equal. Then move on to the detailed pro forma. Okay, here it should be mentioned the detailed pro forma and items and where it should be recorded also here mentioned. Okay, the trial balance is normally prepared at the end of an accounting year. However, an organization may prepare the trial balance at the end of any chosen period, which may be monthly, quarterly, half-yearly or annually depending upon its requirement. Okay, in order to prepare the trial balances, following steps are to be taken or considered. Consider these following steps. I should be explain the steps. The first one is ascertain the balances of each account in the ledger. Then list each account and place its balances in the debit or credit column as this case may be. If the account has a zero balance, it may be included in the trial balance with a zero in the column for its normal balance. Then next step is to compute the total of debit balances column and total of credit balances column. Next step is to verify that the sum of the debit balances equals the sum of the credit balances. If they do not tally, it indicates there are some errors. So one must check the correctness of the trial balances of all accounts. It may be noted that all assets, expenses, receivables accounts shall have a debit balance. Okay, here clear that all assets, receivables and expenses have a debit balance, and also all liabilities, revenue and payable accounts have a credit balance. It should be noted. Okay, then move to the objectives of trial balance. The first objective of trial balance is to ascertain the arithmetical accuracy of ledger accounts. Okay, here which says that the purpose of preparing the trial balance is to ascertain whether all debits and credits are properly recorded in the ledger or not, and that all accounts have been correctly balanced. As a summary of the ledger, it is a list of the accounts and their balances. When the totals of all the debits balances and credit balances in the trial balance are equal, it is assumed that the posting and the balances of account is arithmetically correct. However, the tallying of the trial balance is not a conclusive proof of the accuracy of the accounts. It only ensures that all debits and the corresponding credits have been properly recorded in the ledger also. Then next point is to help in locating errors. When a trial balance does not tally, that is the total of debit and the credit columns are not equal, we know that at least one error has occurred. The error or errors have occurred at one of those stages in the accounting process. It may be totaling of outside subsidiary books, or posting of ledger or journal entries into the ledger, or calculating account balances, or carrying account balances to the trial balances, or totaling the trial balance columns also. It may be noted that the accounting accuracy is not ensured even if the totals of debit and credit balances are equal, because some errors do not affect equality of debit and credit. For example, the bookkeeper may debit a correct amount in the wrong account while making in the journal entry or in posting the journal entry to the ledger. This error would cause two accounts to have incorrect balances, but the trial balance would be tally. Another error is to record an equal debit and credit of an incorrect amount. This error would give the two accounts incorrect balances but would not create unequal debits and credit. As a result of the fact that the trial balance has tallied does not imply that all entries in the books of our original record have been recorded and posted correctly. However, the equal totals do suggest that several types of errors probably have not occurred also. The third and important objective of the trial balance is to help in preparation of financial statement, and the trial balance is considered as the connecting link between the accounting records and the preparation of financial statement also. For preparing a financial statement, one need not refer to the ledger. In fact, the availability of tallied trial balance is the first step in the preparation of financial statement. All revenue and expenses accounts preparing in the trial balance are transferred to the trading and profit and loss account, and all liabilities and capital and assets accounts are prepared to transfer to the balance sheet also. Different ways of preparing trial balance. Okay, there are three methods used for preparing the trial balance. These are totals method, balances method, and totals cum balances method. Okay, then first of all we have to discuss about totals method. Under this method, the total of each side in the ledger, like debit and credit, is ascertained separately and shown in the trial balance in the respective columns. The total of debit column of trial balances should agree with the total of credit column in the trial balance, because the accounts are based on double entry system. However, this method is not widely used in practices, as it does not help in assuming accuracy of balances of every various accounts and preparation of the financial statement also. So it is not used in our accounting system. It is very difficult and it is very time consuming. And the next point is, next way or method of preparing trial balance is balances method. Then we have to explain that it is a most widely used method in practices. Under this method, the trial balance is prepared by showing the balance of all ledger accounts and then totaling up the debit and the credit columns of the trial balance to assure their correctness. The account balances are used because the balances summarizes the net effect of all transactions relating to an account and helps in preparing the financial statements. It may not be treated that the trial balance normally in place of balances in individual accounts of the debtors. A figure of a sundry debtor is shown, and in place of an individual accounts of creditor, a figure of sundry creditor is shown. Okay, clear? In place of debtors, it's sundry debtor. In place of creditor is sundry creditor. Okay, then the third method is totals comes balance method. It is a combination of these two methods. Under the totals cum balances method, 4 columns and amount are prepared. 2 columns for writing the debit and credit totals of various accounts, and 2 columns for writing the debit and credit balances of these accounts. However, this method is also not used in practices because it is the time consuming and hardly serves any additional or specific purposes.